Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2019 Overwatch League season. I am Achilios, jumping on the cast alongside Wolf. And man, we're gonna have potentially a very crazy matchup for you. The Florida Mayhem getting ready to go up against the Houston Outlaws, two teams that have not had nearly the results that they would have liked to have desired here at the beginning of the season. It has been a very rough start for both.
Yeah, there have definitely been ups and downs for these two teams. You can see they sit currently in stage 1 at 17th and 18th. Just one map differentiated between the two of them, -4, -5.
But someone has to win today!
Someone has to win today. Someone is going to jump up quite a few places. They might find themselves just behind the Spark, depending on that score line. A lot of different styles from these two teams. They're not really running 3-3 all the time. We've seen a lot of specific tailored strategies. The Outlaws started off with that. We saw Jake, bring out the Pharah as early as the very beginning of the season. We've also seen Tavik on the May quite substantially. We've seen Jake on the May. So there's a lot of different ways that this series can go. BQB's Sombra, a big thing to keep note of. Tavik on the Pharah. This is not just going to be 3-3 versus 3-3 for the entirety of this series, you have to imagine. I think one team will eventually default to that, and one team will, of course, eventually, if they're struggling in that mirror, which we'll probably start bringing out these strategies as the series goes on.
Yeah, got to see it in Mayhem's last matchup. Saya player going up against Happy with a Widowmaker. Of course, always a possibility that we have that come through with Linkser on the Outlaws squaring off against Saya players. So also something that we have to keep in the back of our minds. Certainly could see that come through, depending on what the maps are going to be. We're going to get to that in just a little bit, though. But this is, obviously a must win for both of these squads. Only one is going to be able to walk away with that victory. The cleaner, the better, to try to fix that map differential. So coming in and trying to be dominant is certainly going to be on the minds of both these teams.
Yeah, I really do feel like we talked about diverse strategies. We didn't talk enough about McGravy, who came in showcasing some really good diva.
Yeah.
And I think he's one of the players to look out for here. Will he start over Zephyr? We don't have the answer to that question just yet. But someone that we could see come in here as a big key player if Florida's to take the matchup.
Well, we're going to find out right now as we introduce them. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Florida Mayhem.
They've really changed their identity this season. The 2019 season, it's not just the old, Swedish roster, the old Scandinavian roster. We've got a lot of new Koreans here, and McGravy joining the squad as well.
He lost a shoe!
And also shoes are sometimes lost, but that's all right. It's a clean studio.
That's like $750 right there that he's carrying in his hand. Make sure you don't leave that behind. Somebody in the audience is going to take that home with them.
Well, let's take a look at our starting 6 here. We'll have Apply starting over to Vic. He's been the more generalist player here on the Brigida role very recently, and McGravy will be starting over Zephyr here on the Diva.
I mean, had a fantastic debut on that body map.
And this is just another picture of more specified roles for the players on Mayhem. That's a good sign going forward.
Well, their opponents, we'll see if they can take them down or if these guys are going to come out on top. Please welcome the Houston Outlaws.
Guys are definitely the fan favorites, no doubt about it, going into this series. Very popular players. And again, expectations are always high for the Outlaws because they're fan favorites. No one's ever okay with a close series. No one's okay with that game 5 that goes the other way. There's always so much pressure on this roster. It shows in Jake's emotional outburst we saw just a few days ago. It will start on this lineup with Linkser here, starting in the starting 6.
Yeah, so curious lineup to be seen here from the Outlaws. Starting Linkser, certainly a bit unorthodox from them, from what we've seen at least so far in the 2019 season. Jake is looking for something. He doesn't know where it is. Where's my khakis? I don't know what he's looking for. But seems like the spirits are high right now for the Outlaws as they take to the stage. The question is whether or not that's going to change in a couple rounds of control, or if they're going to be able to come out on top and maintain that cheeriness. Linkser, a little pop off for the crowd, so he's already feeling good.
Certainly.
Maybe we're going to get some Widow right off the bat.
I'm excited to see Cool Matt versus McGravy as well. Two very strong divas have really proven themselves as individually very talented. And how that goes with the team doesn't always bode the same level of success. But I am excited to see this matchup because they're both very aggressive divas. They do have good damage output. And in terms of Hagupun coming in here as the starting Zenyatta, you know, is a very average Zenyatta at the moment. To differentiate himself and put him up there with the other Korean Zenyatas in this league is certainly what he's looking to do. Because, you know, you never want to be seen as one of the average Koreans, especially with his background.
Yeah, certainly not. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the map set presented by Toyota. Kicking things off, we will be going to Ilios for Control, followed up by King's Row on Hybrid, Horizon Lunar Colony for Assault, and then rounding things out on Rialto, unless we can go to another Game 5, something that the Outlaws especially are no stranger to. Their first match out on the season versus Toronto. Got that reverse sweep handed to them.
Yeah.
We're looking to avoid that here today, however.
There's also the, you know, the lack of Route 66 is always going to be comfortable if you're an Outlaws fan. And as we head into Ilios, we will start on Lighthouse. There's a lot of potential for far compositions on this particular map, but doesn't look like that's what we're going to be seeing from the outset here. Neither team willing to risk the Winston opening. Rather, we'll go for the Reinhardt. Controlling the point first here is of the utmost importance. And Zenyatta's getting an opening pick is the easiest way for that to happen.
Links are here on the Zarya. Let's see how he fares. Trying to get some energy built up. First to drop on low ground, Florida. Just gonna be fishing where they can with these fire strikes. The right clicks from the Zaryas. Bonnie already getting tagged up. Does have to get healed up. Mayhem at the inside track over to the point. Now they're taking a lot of damage in return, however. McGrady nearly losing out onto that mech. Mixer nearly takes it away. But Swan's gonna be the first one to die as Jake finds the opening kill. That's gonna be the Outlaws pushing forward onto the point and likely capping it as Mayhem is just in shambles.
In this mirror composition with Reinhardt versus Reinhardt, it's actually a bad choice to approach the point first in a lot of cases. The reason being is you back yourself into a corner where you're actually vulnerable to a lot of CC and ranged damage coming out from the Zarya. And what we saw there was Linkster just having a better understanding of positioning there, Jake as well, with the whip shots to knock everyone back into threatening positions. The environmental kill is always a big concern. Florida Mayhem lose control early, now massively down on ultimates here as they approach the point.
Yep, drop down, apply. Already getting chunked out. Mayhem again trying to get the approach, but Hagupun gonna be taken down. Point just goes forward, finds the kill. Fire strike will get the brig, and now they can charge forward. Trying to get those extra staggers.
Now this is
They
going to be
may
brutal.
be able to exit successfully. BQB trying to get back through, but will just get booped off the side, so extra time bought. Houston Outlaws pushing beyond 40%.
Nice play by Boink. It'll eliminate all of BQB's charge. He probably wasn't too charged up from that last fight, but now the Outlaws have this choke point control, and they have the grav, and that's going to be together what makes this attack so difficult. Very likely we'll have to see Hagupun use the trance before they get into the point, and that just gives the Houston Outlaws a better chance to use the support ultimates when the fight matters. See them drop down now. Grab potential here, huge for Linkster.
Well, Rally's going to be out from apply as they start the approach. Grab coming through, but McGrady takes that away. Again, nice team matrix from him. Shadow going to be coming down from Muma. Not going to lock too many people up. Now Jake going to be taken down. Sound barrier a little bit too late from Point, trying to keep the brig in the fight. Linkster knocked to the ground. Coolmac going to be dumping the bomb straight out the doorway, but doesn't find a pickoff. Chris, however, still going to die. Linkster finds the kill. He had the sound barrier up, but Hagupun answers back on the body. Now Coolmac going to be knocked out of the Mac. Apply pushing forward, swinging away, looking to build up for another rally here. Point taking a lot of damage, will push off the point. Houston Outlaws might just let this one go over. Now they're gonna have to let it fall, it seems. As the flip gets ready to come through, can't force the OT yet, but they get darn close. 97% for the Outlaws.
And you and I have been talking a lot about support ult chicken. You always want to use it last, right? In this case, Hagupun was able to do that because McGravy was able to use that D matrix to absorb Linkster's grab. That's the most important part of this retake for the Florida Mayhem. Do you like how well the Houston Outlaws backed away, built ult charge, and got nearly to the 99%? So they really just need one more fight. McGravy's gonna have to hope he's gonna grab that again. That Graviton Surge with his defensive matrix.
Long ways away for the support ultimates for the Outlaws. Chris still holding on to that sound barrier, so maybe his early death, a bit of a blessing in disguise.
Okay, McGravy's out of position now. Grab is hugely potential now, huge potential for it now.
Yeah, getting focused down. Grab's gonna be coming out. Houston Outlaws gonna get locked up. Swan, however, is still gonna be the first one taken down. The answering grab comes in from Linkster. They look for the pit. BQB gonna be taken out. McGravy pops the bomb. But can he make it back into the back? Seems like he will be able to do so, but they're all getting pushed off the point. Chris is gonna die again. Hagaput taken down with the Transcendence available. The flip comes in. They will be able to force out OT as McGrady goes forward onto the point. But can they tag back in and starts taking down? McGrady goes in, all on his lonesome again, gets popped out. Will be finished off. BQB desperately swapping over onto the Wrecking Ball. Tries to extend this, but everyone from Mayhem is just dropping like flies. It'll tick down 163. Outlaws take the first point.
You can feel the laser-like focus coming from the Outlaws right now in these fights. Very good positioning from Muma and Jake there to create that disruption, forcing McGravy away from Linkser, allowing his Graviton Surge to be very impactful. Getting that opening but pick before it even goes down means it's a surely won fight. There were some moments, you know, where McGravy shined. Getting that absorb on Linkser's second grab was what got them the point back controlled. But I loved how Houston Outlaws really used the way that the approach for the Florida Mayhem came in first against them, kind of shoving them into that corner, using their CC, their crowd control, to zone them out. And now, as we head into well, looks like we will have a variation of compositions here. Linkser on the McCree. This is probably one of the reasons why he wasn't the starting 6 for control here. They want to use this on well. You can have the Orisa barrier make your McCree practically immortal.
Linkser now going to be trying to show off some of that accuracy, swapping over onto the McCree. Bit more open space for him to work with. Oh, big move into the thing! Oh, Moma gets the halt! Two gonna be disappearing. And that's just gonna be it.
Yep.
Hagaput's the only one left alive, but even then, he gets killed off.
It's funny that in this moment, Chris and McGravy, they both survive with the boosters and the wall ride, but then they decide to kill themselves afterwards because the fight is over. They got a reset. They don't want to feed over any more charge. Now Linkser's got this high ground controlled. McCree, glass cannon, massive damage if he's protected. He's got a good position to do it here. Now they're gonna back away as Swan approaches on this Wrecking Ball, but he's nearly got the Deadeye, and so much time bought here for the Outlaws for practically free. One halt is all it takes.
Gonna be waiting for the next one. Mayhem trying to avoid it at all costs. Need to take that halt away.
Look at the flank here.
BQB gonna be into the pit. Muma finds another one. Linkser, however, will be hounded down. Muma takes out a fly, so still gonna be a 2-for-1 trade up now, 3 for 2. As Bonnie will be eliminated, but still advantage to the Outlaws as they maintain control, approaching 50%.
Well, you know, I have to say that it feels like today with our previous match on Achilios as well, people have forgotten how to play around halt. It's a very powerful ability that will pull players into the well. You need to respect it and track its cooldown if you're going to make an approach like that. Otherwise, you will find yourself knocked off the side, especially Zenyatta and Zarya, the two ones that are most vulnerable to this. Need to be careful, need to be tracking where Muba is standing, whether he has that on cooldown or not. Can often be baited if you're careful by a diva, for example, but easier said than done.
Swan going to be swinging in, looking for that pile driver. Seems like he's not going to be able to find too much. Coolmat, however, going to be melted down, but has that self-destruct, so we'll be able to make it back into the back. Apply going to be taken down as Linkser finds that kill. Remake can't come through, however. Swan does manage to finally go flashbang through. Now the Deadeye coming out. Linkser under some fire, has to get away from the minefield. Tries to find an angle, will not be able to get a target, however. So cancels the ultimate. But approaching 99% right now, the Outlaws closer and closer. Transcendence gonna be out from Hagaput. No ultimates ready to go for the Houston Outlaws. Sound barrier nearly there for Boink, but not gonna be in time to save his Zenyatta. Bunny will be taken down. OT forced out. Swan trying to stay alive, wrapping around the side, down below half HP, getting chipped away at. But still otherwise very much present in this fight. Jake gonna be taken out, pile driver coming through. BQB, another hole takes him down. Muma does get eliminated, but Boink finds the boop into the pit there, taking out Hagaput, but the flip will finally come through.
Now this is going to be the hardest part for the Outlaws, is can they get Linkser to this point, give him line of sight on the McCree. Because of the first halt we saw from Muma, he always had that advantage. They know that the concept I just described is so difficult, it's so unrealistic that even with a 99-0 split, when the flip comes through, it's better to put Linkser on Zarya. When he's 0 to 100 against BQB, it's still just so difficult with all these walls in the way, breaking line of sight on the McCree. It's just rather you run the Zarya.
Oh, Boink gonna be taken down. Bonnie as well under fire. Seems like he will be surviving for the moment, but front line of Outlaws going to be eliminated.
Now, you know, this is a rough start for the retake here for the Outlaws because You know, they're running the Winston rather than the Rhines. There's more mobility to that. Muma's a great Winston player. We all know that, but not building that Primal, that's one of the key ultimates they're going to need to get this flip with that grab. The Lynx are so far away. This needs to be a good fight.
Swan into the back, pile driver going to be going down. So many members of the Outlaws. Now the grab going to be thrown in. Bonnie going lower and lower, dies as the Transcendence comes through. McCraney will take down 2 with the self-destruct. Houston Outlaws going to have to reset and come back to try again. But 65% about here for the Mayhem. They certainly could turn well into a victory.
This is looking like they probably will at this point, unless somehow the Houston Outlaws can use Boinka Body's ultimates here to win a sustained fight, because there's no grab on the side of Florida Mayhem. So that, you know, those ults are going to have to get Muma a Primal, get Lynx or a grab. That's their best chance. They're going to have to use them late. They cannot be forced early.
Muma going to be dropping down. Tapping away, looking to build up. Bomb going to be thrown into the back. Sound barriers through from the Mayhem. No pick off to be found with that, but Lynxer does get Hagelput. Now they're looking for a little bit more. Bonnie going to be taken down by the minefield. Didn't clear that out with the Transcendence at the scene. Lynxer, however, answers back, finding the enemy Brig. Fly going to be eliminated. They're pushing forward. The flip getting ready to come through. 99 to 99. Grab going to be coming down. Locks up Chris Solo. Zarya on the other side of the wall, but they can't push far enough forward to get rid of BQB. Now answering grab comes through. They lose out on Cool Matt's Mac. Pile driver comes down. Jake going to be eliminated. The baby even taken out as well by the Wrecking Ball. Houston Outlaws trying to hold on, trying to maintain control to close this out with a 2-0, but I don't think it's going to be able to happen. They send up Muma, they're focus firing him. Loops to the other side of the pin, trying to stay alive. Bubble going to be coming down. That's for a little bit longer, but it's a flip coming back through. Now he's going to be pushed off, and we're going to be going to a third and final round of Ilios.
Despite Lynxer's best efforts there, his opening kill onto Hagelpun before Transcendence came out, they're still not able to win the fight because Bonnie used his Transcendence early. As the idea there was to get Lynxer into position to maximize damage on the Zarya, which he did. The trade-off, though, is that once he was out of it, they were down on heals. Hagelpun eventually returns to the point, and there's just more healing on the side of the Florida Mayhem as a result. Good plan in general, decent execution, but still, sometimes there's just nothing you can do about your opponents having more healing output overall. They can't prevent Hagelpun from coming back. As we head into this one, it is going to be the Rhine versus Winston matchup. Muma starting the Rhine. Highlighted his stats earlier today. He is one of the more survivable tanks in the league. And that's going to be key if he's to get on the point here and hold it down, the less mobile tank.
Well, maybe we would see Lynxer try to start things off with a Widowmaker here. Ruins, usually the friendliest round of Ilios that you could bring that pick through, but not going to be showing it yet. So it seems like the Widow maybe not a part of the Houston Outlaws strategy, just trying something different, having Lynxer kick things off. Speaking of kicking things off, those almost taken down. Bubble comes in right at the last second as BQB saves him, but McGravy's mech will be taken down off the point, and the Houston Outlaws will yet again get the initial cap.
Okay, this is now going to be Florida Mayhem wanting to retreat. They do not want to lose any more members, lose more time, and further give ult charge over to Lynxer. Nice escape by Chris. He helps get his allies away. BQB sticks around because he needs to trade with this Zarya. Otherwise, he's going to be so far behind in both energy and the grab. But you can see here, they turn around. Now they're going to re-engage from the high ground. The Zarya matchup is so interesting to watch when you watch it. It's such a close, high level.
Still, BQB trying to catch up. A little bit further behind Lynxer. Drop down. They man to find Swan. Gonna be a good opening. Now Chris getting burned down. It's in there just at the tip. Lynxer will be able to find a couple kills here on the exit to finish him off with that extra bit of stagger.
And now we have to see Swan swap over to the Winston, or excuse me, to the Reinhardt. There's just no way he can contest anymore against Muma having control of this choke with the Winston. It's too risky. Lynxer's high energy. That's how he was burned down in that last fight. Lynxer just showcasing in a lot of these situations that he is the superior Zarya at understanding how to utilize his charge and also ammo, which is something we don't talk about a lot with Zaryas, but I love how Lynxer reloads at proper time, so he's always doing more damage in general than BQB.
Oh. Well, that's going to be another rough start as Lynxer just sits above them.
Just to further this point, Lynxer leads in Zarya damage right now by 3,000 at the moment. And that's just, a lot of this comes from accuracy on right clicks, but also really nice reload timings. See the right side approach here for the Florida Mayhem. This is do or die. It has to be this one. The grab has to be good. They've got no energy really to speak of.
Waiting for his moment, building up that energy. Grab gonna be thrown down right in front of him. Transcendence is ready to go from Hagelpun apply. Still being focused down, almost gets taken out. Bomb's not going to be able to find anything. Sound barrier now through from point as the Houston Outlaws try to keep things rolling, try to close this out right here, right now with a 100-0 finish. The Gravy under fire, 90+ energy here for Lynx, so they force him out of the back. The bomb comes through. He will be able to make it back in. Coolmat in the meantime loses his. Swan drops the shatter, but doesn't find anything. Muma has a block, but Jake way too far forward, will get picked off, and Muma tries to charge to the side, but he hits the statue, gets burned down. They've pushed to 99% again. Florida Mayhem will get this flip. Can they do it a second time in a row? Can they close it out?
We're talking about 3,000 damage differences. Hagupin's got that over Bonnie, and in that last fight, the most important part is he builds another trance through that damage, because without it, the Houston Outlaws would easily just walk up and take this point like candy from a baby because of the grab that Lynxer holds and the setup they're going to have with Muma's Shatter. So having his trance available is super huge. But Gravy cannot get DMAC though. There's the trance.
Yeah, the lockup coming through. Swan's still going to be taken down. Just not enough healing to try to keep him alive. But Muma will fall as well. So an exchange on the Reinhardts to begin. Grab going to be thrown down, but BQP dead shortly after throwing it. Houston Outlaws maintaining control. Muma's going to be respawning and joining back in. McGravy cut off on the backside of the point with the rest of his squad. No supports available. All three of them taken down. Florida Mayhem have to try to extend this with just their tank line. The flip comes back through. 99% the OT getting ready to take down. McGravy up onto the high ground. Barely half HP left on that mech. They will focus him out. BQP pushes back through with a wrecking ball. It's an armor back. Swan's got nowhere to go. Hits the wall, hits the ground dead. And Houston Outlaws should be able to pick them off one after the other to close this out just for good measure. Lock up the Tracer with the Graviton Surge. Sound Barrier will come through for Chris, but he cannot touch the point. And the Houston Outlaws will take Ilios.
Very overextended. Were the Florida Mayhem there with that defense? They wanted to take the fight near the spawn, outside of the point, but they got caught doing so. McGravy took too much damage. And that's going to be the map going to Houston.
A great way to kick things off for Houston. Let's see if they can keep that ball rolling, or Florida will bounce back when we come back from the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
back, ladies and gentlemen. The Houston Outlaws able to take Achilios with a 2-1 record. So starting off this series with a map win, Florida Mayhem able to get that second round on well, but not really showing up on Ruin. So do suffer that first loss. But now we have to see how they bounce back as we get ready to go into King's Row.
Yeah, there were definitely a lot of really key moments. Muma on the Orisa was one of my favorites.
Oh yes,
really tossing them into the well there, not having a lot of trouble with the early part of well. I want to talk about Linkser versus BQB though on the Zarya, because this is a really particular stat that there's a lot to talk about, unpack here. I was talking about he was about 3k damage ahead, ended up being 2k in the end, but notice something really interesting in terms of time played. About 2.5 minutes less time played for Linkser. He still leads the stats here. It's only at 2 deaths as well. Average energy much higher. Something I noticed about Linkser is just in general, this is a weird thing to talk about with Zarya because a lot of people don't even think about this or realize this, but there is a reload for Zarya. BQB was often reloading when he needed to be doing damage in fights because he was trying to spam his right click to build up energy a lot, whereas Linkser just constantly reloaded. He was always ready to enter a fight whenever an opportunity arose, and that was something that really, I think, set him apart from BQB, and his ability to do more consistent damage and have higher energy is why they won a lot of those neutral fights.
We need a reload efficiency stat, so you have to plan. If you can make that happen, that'd be great, so Wolf can truly get his point across. But no, I agreed. I think everybody, watching as after you had pointed it out, could kind of identify that. Just a little bit of mismanagement there. That microing when you're playing as Zarya can be very impactful in the grand scheme of things. But guys, we have a lot of substitutions for you. First off, Tavik going to be coming back in over Apply.
That's right. It's not going to be the only substitution we have, though. As you can see, Zephyr will return as well over McGravy.
So I'm trying out the two newer players to the Mayhem, but kind of going back to the more veteran ones for the second map. Raucus will be coming through as well.
Yeah, very rare to not see Raucus on the lineup.
We had that lower third set. It's the second time that he hadn't been starting for them.
That's right.
So very rare indeed. And then Spree will be coming back in for Linkser as well. So it seems like Linkser, very much a planned thing for Achilios. The McCree coming through, not enough to get them that victory on well, but still look good on the Zarya. So maybe we see him come back in later. We'll have to see. And then Dante will be coming in for Cool Matt.
Yeah, so having a more focused squad here and a lot more potential for Sombra compositions coming for the Houston Outlaws. Remember too that we talked about Tavik becoming more of a specialized player, right? Over Apply being the more generalist Brigitte player. He's played a little bit more of, for example, the May specifically. But you have to wonder with Zephyr versus McGravy, what's the reasoning? We're seeing a lot of subs, a lot of swaps, and I don't know if the reasons have yet been figured out, to us. I don't know if the swaps have been yet justified, and it starts to make you wonder, are there too many substitutions on the side of the Florida Mayhem?
Well, we'll find out if it's going to work in their favor, if they're going to be able to stabilize as we get ready to move forward into King's Row. If it doesn't, and then we see another swap back for Assault, I think that's when we really kind of have to draw the camera back a bit and be like, okay, what's going on here? Yeah. Things look a little bit scrambled, but give them the benefit of the doubt, at least for now, as we get ready to push forward here.
In StarCraft Pro League in particular, and a lot of Korean esports, you would have players play on one particular map. And even if they were doing the same strategy as one of their teammates would do on the next map, and they were a better player at it, you'd have this one specific player on that map, right?
Thank you, Captain Planet. Yep. Well, my name only has one L in it, so you don't got me.
There you go. So when you think about it that way, it may just be that Zephyr is planned to play on this map, and already since he's showcasing Zarya here with the Sombra strategy, that makes sense, right? So we've already figured out why the Mayhem subbed him back in. So McGravy probably not that well versed on the Sombra yet, so BQB, the Sombra specialist, Zephyr needs to flex over to the Zarya as a result, and we will have Tavik on the Brigitte, at least for now. The Hakopen bring up the Ana, the Architect is popularized on this map. Dante will match the Sombra though for the Houston Outlaws. A bit of a mirror matchup in that regard, minus the Ana.
Good spotting there on BQB. Instantly has to translocate out as the hack comes down onto Raucus. So keeping that Zenyatta safe, denying a lot of charge away from BQB as well in that moment. Push forward, Houston Outlaws going to be in onto the point. Muma managed to find Tavik. He's going to be hacked out, but that's fine. The Brig just wants to do nothing but swing away with that left click at the moment. See, Florida Mayhem have to give them so much room, push all the way back. Now Boink finds BQB. That's just going to be point A taken.
Very likely.
Straight up on the first attack. 5:42 in the time bank.
Yeah, very likely found his translocator. Just waited for him to respawn there as he was searching around and then punched him as he spawned. We will also see Jake make the same flex swap over to support that we've seen Architect do in the past, and Tavik will go over to the May. And we highlighted a lot on the Watchpoint pre-show. You know, we thought we might see May versus May, maybe, but this is more realistic, right? Now he's going to be able to set up some potential walls here, some charges, and it makes it tougher to avoid EMP.
Jump up the top, Dante. Not laying down the translocator for an escape path at the moment, just looking to get to an angle where he can harass from, but has been forced back here behind the cart.
There are ways.
Online, BQB nearly having his. That's going to be the nano on the swan.
Early.
Yeah, they throw that one down now. EMP out from BQB. Spree will be the first one taken down,
Nice
but can they
catch.
get more kills? The wall not really cutting anyone off, but Swan managed to get the pin on Muma, so
Yeah.
now Mayhem have control of the cart.
Giving Muma less room to escape. I was going to point out there are ways on maps like King's Row to use the May pick to actually contest the cart by putting up an ice wall and then standing behind it so the cart will be contested, can't move, and then break through the ice. We've seen that on Route 66 a lot in Korea. It's a pretty rare strategy, but there are certain ways you can utilize the May wall that way. But I don't think that's what Florida Mayhem have in mind. I think they just want to isolate targets and choke points like this one, just like they did on Rialto.
Yeah, cut him off for a moment. Dante going to be slept, but the shield is up. Muma does keep him protected, so now he'll stand back up with his own EMP ready to roll. Puckett's going to be hacked out, but now the EMP going to be thrown down. Shatter in from Muma. 2 kills coming through. Tavik manages to find Jake, but now he's on his lonesome here at the back of the card. Gets rid of Raucus with the help of BQB, but Dante is there to scoop up the finishing blow onto the May. And BQB is just, yeah, he's going to be jumping back through looking for a health pack.
Yeah. So a lot of people might know that Tavik actually had his freeze, his ice block available there, but did not use it. It's because he wants to respawn with his squad faster. Doesn't actually want to contest the cart in this moment. It's actually going to basically stagger his death if he does so.
And you got to keep in mind, both these teams going to be operating without divas, so crucially, that Blizzard cannot be taken away
Very true.
by the Houston Outlaws. They cannot eat it with a D-Matrix. Dante now going to get picked off. Zephyr finds that one. Good fire strike comes through from Muma.
And now they can
still have to
save
play
the
back.
Blizzard, because if BQB gets an EMP and they have the Blizzard together, it's such a powerful combo. There's no real counterplay against that. And if they can shut down, for example, the Zenyatta, that's going to be the hugest thing they could do with this. And you could delete a Zenyatta so quickly with the EMP. So that's the idea here, BQB, but he doesn't have it yet. He's got to farm that last 30%.
Well, Grab going to be coming through, locks up the Houston Outlaws. That's going to be a pin in on the Muma, going lower and lower. Now going to be frozen up. Will be taken down. They find the kill. BQB going to be traded out right at the end, but Mayhem still in control.
This is the kind of series you'd expect to see between these two teams, by the way.
Yeah.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
A little scrappy, you know.
Well, Blizzard was used there. BQB's close to the EMP, so no longer going to be using that as kind of like a combo, even though it's not a, you know, one of the combos you ever think about in Overwatch that can work well together. It is important for Raucus to stay far away from the rest of his team, but also not too far away so he doesn't get caught and killed alone. Very tricky to be the Zenyatta in this position. Same with Boink on the Lucio.
Pushing forward, they're looking for Swan. They're taking him lower and lower. The Nano going to be thrown in. Grab, locking him up. EMP out from BQB, but he's the first one to fall. Dante just sprays him down. The Vic, nice blocking there onto the high ground. Will be broken out now. Shatter coming through, locking up Muma. Pin coming down. Sorry, but a little bit too late, but it doesn't matter because he still have the focus fire to get rid of Swan and keep Muma alive. A Shatter of his own getting ready to come online, but seems like he'll be able to hold that for the final stretch as they do roll into B and bump up that time bank. 3:20 now on the clock for the final stretch of King's Row.
I think we've reached the point where we can start being critical of this strategy for Mayhem. The May hasn't been as effective since A as they would have liked it to be. BQB's EMP usage a little bit questionable, sometimes too late. In that case, very much in an inopportune moment, hit neither support. And now he's just looking to farm another one, but I mean, it's too late. This is a 3-minute time bank they're rolling in with right now. I think they should have swapped a long time ago.
Jake keeping himself safe, getting a little heal deny there on his effort. Chris gonna be taken down. Boink going aggro. Finds a kill onto the enemy Lucio. Dante gonna be the only one traded out. Perfectly timed pin from Muma. takes to Vic, knocks him out of the park. Now Swan going to be eliminated as well.
So Vic basically staggering himself. He's going to have the Blizzard when he comes alive, but I don't know if he's going to get to use it. Someone's going to have to touch this first. They're being blocked out right now.
Zephyr waiting patiently, trying to get out there, has a grab to use.
Chris touches it.
They do split. Jake's going to be going lower and lower. Hagupin taken down. Chris manages to find the kill there onto the Ana. Now the lockup on the grab comes in. Members of Outlaws will be taken out. The wipe comes through. Mayhem maintain control 1.88 meters away.
I know it seems overrated, but Chris coming in at that moment, at that angle to tag the cart was absolutely essential. It meant that the rest of his team could fight in a proper position head-to-head with the Outlaws instead of getting split in half trying to touch the point. So Chris with that sneaky angle saves them here, at least for a little bit longer, buying a lot of time.
Well, that's going to be EMP coming through, catches everybody other than Raucus, but the heal and eye is there on his spree, so he can't top him up even with that Transcendence. Knocked down through. And that will just be the cleanup here. Nice little fight, but that's just one step. There's so many more battles to be won here by the Mayhem if they want to hold them off.
Yeah. And you know, I have to say though, I did not expect they would stabilize here. It's just two major plays. And suddenly it looks like the Houston Outlaws may have trouble hitting C. The big thing to note is with Hagupin on the Ana, the heal deny was huge in that last fight, sure, but the trade-off is no Transcends for the EMP or the grab coming through for the Outlaws. They've got the two ultimates they need to roll this into C, barring a huge mistake.
Yep. Dante now has the EMP ready to go. Point getting close to that sound barrier.
Dante slept, that's actually huge.
Yeah, it does get
up
here on the high ground. Grab's going to be coming through. Main wall to try and deny away some of that damage. Now the EMP dropping in. Chris trying to exit. Seems like he will be able to stay alive. Shatter comes in. Zephyr going to be taken down in the back line. Jake just going to be sniping away. Tries to find the line on the Chris. Is unable to get him. Gets to sleep there onto Swan. He's got the nano boost rolling through. Now spamming away, trying to keep Uma alive, but he's unable to do so. Blizzard going to be thrown down onto the cards. Few remaining members of Mayhem playing around that. Jake hits the ground. The EMP comes in afterward. That's going to be the cleanup. Houston Outlaws, they don't have any time now. 30 seconds, realistically, one more chance to tag the point.
The sleep there from Hagupin onto Dante, preventing the big combo with the EMP was absolutely huge. Spree panicked a little bit, used the grab anyways, but the fight was not as clean. It was not the fight they were looking for. The Hagupin's bio grenades just buy enough time. Looks like we might have the hold here. Those tools the Outlaws had for the last push, the big ones, they're gone now. They've run dry. They're gonna have to use this Transcendence for the longer fight to build them.
Drop into the back. Dante gonna be looking for the tag. Working his way through. Nano boost now online. Raucus opening things with that Transcendence. Nano's thrown in. They're going to be hacked off screen. Muma going to be swinging away, looking for a target. They're going to be taken down. Swan now looking for the pin, unable to find it. Grab comes in, and they have nothing to mitigate this. They're just trying to stay alive. Point going to be eliminated now. Muma falling. Spree answers one back onto Zephyr and Chris. All out chaos breaking through here on the card. EMP thrown in.
Raucus solo.
They trying to clean this up. Hagupin solo. A sliver of HP remaining on the out of the card, starting to advance, and Swan, he wraps around the back because he was just so darn low, and they will be able to finish Kings Row in overtime.
Really nice plays from Raucus there in the end. Also his Transcendence timing to get them onto the point, to have that healing, that sustain to build the ults they needed to win that fight is perfectly timed. Very good decision making from this Zenyatta player. But we have to go back in time. We have to remember that this was not the time bank they expected. They rolled around B with 3 minutes on the clock after a failed maze strategy there from A to B. Did not stop them in their tracks. We saw basically free pushing, Dante controlling the map with these EMPs, BKB having some missed ones. So sure, you know, the Outlaws, they do get completion here, but it's not the time bank they would have liked. And if we go to a similar time bank for the Florida Mayhem, I think everyone's gonna wonder what would have been had, for example, that sleep dart not connected with Dante on the high ground when that fight was about to go down at about 1.5 to 2 minutes. For the defense,
down and dirty right now.
It certainly is.
The team fighting that we're experiencing, especially there at the end, a lot cleaner up until that point from the Houston Outlaws. Let's see how clean their defense is.
It's going to be Muma on the Wrecking Ball, so a composition that's designed to disrupt. But actually, he changes his mind, goes over to the Reinhardt, so never mind on that. I was going to say it's a bit of a risky strategy, though, given that BQB is in the lineup, and with Zephyr flexing over to Zarya, you always feel a little bit vulnerable when you can get hacked as a Wrecking Ball. Not going to happen, though. Dead mirror compositions here as Devik will swap over after the arrow, you have to imagine.
Yep. Going to be running the May on attack.
Okay, again. No, I don't know about this.
Well, we'll see. We've seen a couple teams try this in the past in Contenders Korea. I was supposedly to try to break a treehouse comp, you know, push onto the high ground with a May wall, but this is something a little bit different.
Something a little bit more tough to execute, too.
Well, Hack comes in on a Swan. He'll try to exit. Seems like he will be able to stay alive. Tavik just taking these right clicks over and over again, trying to build up for that Blizzard as rapidly as possible. Right now, he's outpacing Dante for an EMP.
Yeah.
So that's a good look.
That's definitely a good look. It's a good start. But what you're missing is healing. That's the trade-off here. We always have to remember why is May bad? It's not that May is bad, but Brigida is more essential oftentimes in these comps where you have extra CC to protect your backline. You have the extra healing. You have burst heals for your tank line that May will not give you. So that's why the Houston Outlaws are winning the poke war right now. Nice wall though, that's gonna
sleep, and Muma, oh yeah, nowhere to go. Just gets picked off. They almost answer back on the Swan. They cannot quite finish him off. Blizzard gonna be up just a few percent more here from Tavik. Nano thrown onto Zephyr as that grab gets ready to come through, but might not even have to use it. Dante manages to find Hagapun, but both supports from the Houston Outlaws get eliminated by Chris. Two swift punches takes them both out.
Very
That's
decisive.
just a bit of cap onto A.
Very decisive from the Florida Mayhem. You know, as the May in this case, you're basically stalking your prey. You're constantly looking for that one target to step over the line. Usually it's the Reinhardt.
Oh, split spawn.
Yep, split spawn here.
It
They've
gets
already
cut off.
prepared it. Yep, that's going to be a nice little stagger here while BQB is looking to charge the last part of the EMP.
I don't think they've seen him yet. So yeah, now that they get pushed forward towards the corner, Jake can actually exit. So that could have been catastrophic, but he does make it out.
Sure. But yeah, now they have this Blizzard. They're going to have the EMP. Hopefully for the Mayhem fans' sake, this will go better than the last time to try to utilize this combo on defense in the same area. Dante's got an EMP of his own.
Yeah, EMP coming through. Shatter going to be thrown down. Catches Swan by himself, but makes her a very easy target. He can break that main tank line. The odds of them bouncing back and turning around the fight, very slim. So will be control over to Houston.
There's no way to save a target like that with burst heals. I mean, Hagapun's got sustained heals, but no burst. They have no Brigida. So it's really easy to get that solo pick in moments like this. Now the Mayhem walk in with nearly the big six here. Hagapun only missing the nano, but even still, you have to wonder, will they be able to utilize this one? You know, we have double support ultimates on the end of the Outlaws, nearly triple here. They have the answers.
Ball coming up. Muma again going to be isolated, but is able to wrap around the side. Grab, however, will be catching them. They'll just be swinging away. Swan holds on to the Shatter. They just stack in the grab and the Blizzard again, which even then I think is maybe a bit of an overcommitment, but it gets them the team fight win. They start pushing towards B.
Credit to Tavik for the isolation, but again, we have to point fingers at Muma a little bit here. Stepping forward, finding himself caught. Wanted to be aggressive, wanted to be greedy, build that ult charge. And now once again, Tavik's just going to be at the front, spamming right click to look for another Blizzard.
BQB pushing in, EMP out, the Shatter catches so many members of the Outlaws, and they will be taken down. That completely denies away the rally from Jake.
That's huge.
Rock is the only one who's got a sliver of armor.
It looked like they weren't going to hard engage in that fight. Ooh, risky call there. It looked like they weren't going to hard engage on that fight, but I think the angle BQB got that we didn't have the greatest shot of there opened it up massively, and they committed in. This is a great time, similar to what the Outlaws had. Now for Florida Mayhem.
Wall coming up again, not cutting them off. Grab comes through, locks up Swan. He's got the nano boost to go in for the pan, trying to take him down, but he's just so beefy. Makes it out of there with his life, but actually Raucous does manage to finish him off at long last. Dante going lower and lower as the EMP ready to roll, but just will hold it, seize at the Mayhem. Want nothing more to do with this fight.
Now, I wonder, you know, how things would really be that different if Tavik just swapped over to Brigida. They mirror comped here a little bit. You know, obviously they have Hagapun on the Ana, so that's the big difference, which is causing them problems, actually, against Dante's EMPs because there's no Transcendence. They're only reliant on the sound barriers from Chris. But even still, you know, we have to wonder what this map would look like if Tavik just played Standard, and we'll never know. He's going to stick with the May. And already Houston Outlaws are prepared for it. Notice how the way they're standing this time, no one can really get caught by a May wall. Okay, move. I say that.
Well, EMP out, Shatter gonna drop. The sound barrier is gonna be there from Chris to try to keep him topped up. Spree dropping low. Seems the healing here from Raucous. Blizzard going to be thrown down. Grab over onto the side. Tvik, however, the first one to fall, but Spree gets caught out. Zephyr picks up 2 on the back of these Yielded Eyes coming in from Hagapun. Another nano thrown down. This really helps push their way across the line here. So BCAP rolling through for Mayhem. 1:10 on the finish. Now bumped up to 2:38.
Yeah. They have the EMP ready. BQB is hacked here briefly for the moment, but Zephyr is just trying to get some poke damage done as they roll the cart around the corner. He's also trying to build the final part of this Graviton Surge. Knowing that Raucus just used the Transcendence in that last fight, there's a huge opportunity for a big EMP/grab here if Zephyr can build that up. Ooh, look at the wall, Muma!
Yep, going aggro, has the cart at least to help bail him out.
Almost knocked off.
EMP going to be thrown in from BQB, looking for the fight. Shatter going to be coming down. Raucus locked up into the back, Spree in the front. He's going to be eliminated now. Jake going to be taken down, a near wipe coming through. And they're still looking for a few extra kills. Boink will be finished off here at the end. Houston Outlaws have to do something to stabilize.
Yeah, and look at this. Raucus still at only 70% versus Zephyr's grab that he finished. This is a great way for them to come up here with a minute plus on the time bank if the grab could be good, if it could be placed well.
Oh, Dante!
That's huge.
Picked off the right clicks from Tvik.
Okay, here we go. There's the grab.
Now no EMP to come out. Grab does come through, locking him up. Raucus just about to get that Transcendence online. Zephyr will be taken out. BQB going to be coming back through. Muma slept. The Florida Mayhem, they're like, you know what? We still have a bit of time, 1.5 minutes remaining. Let's push our way back. Charge coming in, but Tvik keeps himself safe with the wall.
That fight was a disaster for the Mayhem. That was their moment to win the map.
Started off so well.
Yeah, but Zephyr dying early, staying up far forward. The rest of the team wasn't with him. BQB was somewhere else. And now suddenly EMP can shut down this next push. Dante's up on the high ground. He's looking for it.
Waiting patiently. They're taking those right clicks again. Tvik trying
Chris
to spot him out.
does not have barrier. He does not have barrier yet. Dante's looking for him too. If he catches him, it's all over for this attack.
Translocator comes
Dante's found him.
Dante and BQB going back and forth.
He's just
Chris
waiting.
Around the back.
He's just waiting for him.
Trump in. Both Sombras duking it out. Chris, try not to get involved.
Okay, now he's coming down.
Yeah, EMP will come in. The Shatter's going to be in the head. That's going to be them pushing forward, looking to shut this down. 33 seconds remaining. Tvik goes off the side, knows that he has to reset right now if they're going to have any hope.
Huge plays by Dante. He was able to track Chris the entirety of that fight, even when BQB came up to guard him. BQB does have his own Sombra ult here for the next attack with double support ultimates. Defender's advantage here. This map looks pretty over. It's going to take a miracle for Mayhem to force this into extra rounds here. BQB's EMP's got to be start.
Dante going to be sucked into the back. They will be able to finish him off.
That's an opening.
Now going to be pushing for the play so far up. The Transcendence still going to be rolling, but the hack catches everybody else. Shatter comes down. Spree going to be eliminated. Doesn't get an opportunity to use that grab. Rally rolling through, now expiring. Jake trying to armor up everybody else. Sound barrier after a point, but he's not going to be able to get anything. I think it might have been interrupted, actually, by the hack from BQB. Muma now heal denied. Swings coming through from Swan. Will be able to finish him off the cart. Getting closer and closer. Could just have a double OT finish. 0.9 meters left to go. The grab now finally going to be thrown in onto the cart as they try to take them down. Jake going to fall, but so does Chris. Now Spree eliminated. Vantage still over to the side of Mayhem. They get rid of Boink, and they will be able to get it. So double OT pushes coming through for both of these squads.
Hagapun is the hero, man. That sleep dart onto Dante, his second major one of the map, absolutely turning things around. The follow-up EMP from BQB is impressive. Get that opening pick, and that's all they needed.
Well, overtime going to be coming up when we come back from the break. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, a minute apiece for both of these teams. Florida Mayhem kicking things off on the defense, but how far can these guys go?
That is the question. You know, with only a minute, the maze strategy feels pretty out of the question. Tvik will start the Brigida here. In this first fight is going to determine everything because you're always going to, the winner of the first fight, which you and I usually refer to as neutral, will have the ult advantage when there's no time for follow-up pushes. I mean, the map was pretty much decided in this meta, in that fight. It's so difficult to get opening kills.
Both teams are able to get the point A cap on their first attack out. Let's see if they can manage that now that the pressure is really on. Dante going to be spotted out, gets the hack there onto the Mega back. Zephyr pushing forward, now finally onto a Diva. Something that we've not seen for the entirety of King's Row.
Yeah. It's definitely a BQB specific Sombra play they were running initially, but not going to work out in this situation when they only have a minute.
Dropping down, Houston in onto the point. Swan pushing forward aggressively, gets a couple swings in, looking to build up for that shatter, but Hagapun gets picked off. Could that just be it? Could that be point A going over? Zephyr's got to get the heck out of there. Goes lower and lower, now pushing forward, bubble through onto Swan as he tries to stay alive, but Spree will be able to burn him down. 2 ticks already picked up as we get ready to hit OT. The Houston Outlaws will clean them up. They will do it again as they get the cap on A.
And nobody of the Outlaws should panic yet either, because not only is it, okay, yes, it's an overtime push, but they have so many tools. The delay here on the Zephyr is nice as well.
That was actually clutch. They pushed them so far that the charge expired.
Now they have the Grav available, they have the Shatter, the EMP, they have the Transcendence. I mean, I know I'm listing ultimates here. It's not the most, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see, that this is going to be a very difficult push to stop, with Hagapun being one of the first to die in that fight. 40% only. The Houston Outlaws could push this very far. B, not even out of the question here, potentially further towards C if they win this fight very efficiently. Florida Mayhem can only sit back on the high ground. They know they're behind in ultimates. They can't push a fight to the cart, so much free distance now for the Outlaws.
Well, they hear him coming in from behind. Shatter going to be coming down. Point going to be locked up. Answering Shatter, though! It's absolutely huge from Muma! Knocks them all right on their bums, and they will scoop up the kills.
That was a pretty,
oh man, what a wipe!
It was a pretty risky decision to try to go around like that and drop down on top of an enemy team that has AoE ultimates, 3 of them.
What a push.
Which will punish you. And this push now hits B. We're not done yet. But Florida Mayhem finally has the tools. This time, it's more realistic for them to shut it down. You know, that was the Hail Mary backdoor shatter attempt from Swan, but the regular grab here from BQB, no chance from Raucus, that's more realistic.
Grab, ready to roll. Pin coming through, BQB does stay alive.
Swan's knocked down.
Point, finds the kill. And Zephyr just gonna be resetting it, would seem, as they get ready to round the final corner.
So much
1
momentum.
minute to begin, and here they are.
So much momentum for the Outlaws now. You gotta really feel for the Florida Mayhem. They had so many chances, they had so many opportunities, but they are just picked off one by one. They still have the ult lead. They're gonna have to come on and tag. Here they come, BQB's grab. It has to be now.
Swan still taking so much damage. Shake will get picked off first, however. Grab, thrown down straight in on top of movement. The sound barrier is going to be there from Point as he tries to keep them all alive. The bomb comes in, however, and Zephyr manages to find 2, and that's all that they needed. So cannot finish King's Row again. But getting as far as they did with just a minute at the start, impressive stuff from the Houston Outlaws and putting a lot of pressure on the Mayhem, so now have to rise to that occasion and try to best it to get the win here.
That's one of the most terrifying parts of this meta. You know, we talked about the first fight on A and the ultimate advantage that gains you. When we saw that fight come through in their favor, Hagapun dying first actually hurt them the most. He didn't have a Transcendence, and there was just no way the Outlaws were going to lose the next fight. And the Florida Mayhem took a risk. They decided, they were like, we can either fight them around the corner next to B, and that's still a lot of distance they got, or we can drop down Hail Mary and hope they don't notice and we get a huge shatter. That risk absolutely did not pay off. They put themselves into the EMP, into the grab, into the shatter. Houston Outlaws get another free fight, more ultimates, and it's no surprise after that attempt by Swan and team failed that it was going to be a very massive push. Florida Mayhem will have to win this fight with the same amount of crushing ult advantage, or the Houston Outlaws are going up 2-0.
If you push that far, can you come back and try to get a reverse sweep? So much pressure in that moment. Florida Mayhem looking to avoid that as they come out with an attack of their own. A minute on the clock, just as we saw from the Houston Outlaws. But can they can they go almost the entire distance of the map to pick up that win and tie up this series?
They're not running the Sombra. They're only focusing on taking A right now efficiently. They're checking for Dante right now. That's why we're watching Zephyr's perspective. He's looking for the Sombra right now.
Yep. He will go ahead and make his appearance known. So goes ahead, pops out for a moment before pushing his way back. Muma taking a lot of damage here into the front line. Nearly finished off. Swan as well, however.
Will they re-engage? That's the question. Or will they just try to back off and then fight in the choke? Might be the better option here, given the distance they have. They're going to fight, though.
Yeah, I think they're just going to keep going for it here. Zephyr nearly taken out of the mech. Dante trying to build up for that EMP. If he can get that online, that ult alone could shut down this push from Mayhem. 8 seconds remaining.
That's what they're playing for. They want that EMP.
Onto the point here, 15% remaining for Dante. Stun goes in, Swan going low. They finish him off spree with the melee hit. Manages to find the kill. He himself under some fire. Pushes his way back.
EMP's up.
Behind the right shield. Stun up. Grab gonna be online. Transcendence is out from both these Zenyatta's in onto the point. Now Houston Outlaws gonna be locked up. But the EMP gets something from Dante. It catches so many members. The kills will be coming through the OT. Now gonna be taken away. And the Houston Outlaws will move up 2-0 after this win on Kings Row.
What an incredibly risky decision to stay on a commit back into the point. Had they failed there, it would have been the same situation. Florida with a multiple ultimate advantage, but they stuck to their guns. They defended, and they will win the map from it. Good call here in the end by Jake and his team.
Take a look at that. I got play of the match, but good stuff from them. They lead 2-0. We'll be back with halftime in just a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
Houston's looking to get back on winning track. They're up 2-0 over the Mayhem heading into the break. Welcome to halftime, guys. Malik here with Bren and Zoe. Bren, you know I gotta I got to call you out for it, man.
You do got to call me out.
I got to call you out. You predicted Florida to win this game, and it doesn't look like it's going too well for them so far, man.
Yeah, I think I've been sleeping on Houston a little bit too much,
Just
to
a
be
little bit.
honest. Like, yeah, I mean...
Remember, you said they weren't going to win a game all year.
The thing is, I don't want to give them my trust, because last year they kind of betrayed that. You know, I was kind of hot on them early on, but now they're looking like they're shaping up to be a very solid team.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Well, guys, shall we go ahead and jump straight into the highlights? Because there was a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. But firstly, we're going to be going with the Ultimate Economy, which is sponsored by State Farm. It's a little play that I picked up in the map 1, which is a fantastic little play. It came from Florida's end, but realistically it applies to any team whatsoever. So the first thing I want you to point your attention to is the fact that McGravy actually ends up eating Lynx's Graviton Surge pretty early on in this fight. This is pretty good for Florida, obviously, because it means they can have a better chance of winning this team fight, but it's still even. Houston, they've got a lot of ultimates. They're going to end up essentially using all of them now, the Samurai and the Transcendence, which works out in their favor, protects them as well, that they mitigates a lot of the damage. But the real point I want to point your attention to here is Hagapun. He's held onto his Transcendence, and the reason he's able to do that is because of earlier McGravy eating Lynx's Graviton Surge, which meant he can hold on to it for a later date, you know, and he can actually use it to end up winning this team fight out in the late game. And you can see how late he uses it, right at the tail end of this fight, really to just secure it for the rest of his team. And this is something that I want, realistically, everyone as well who's watching at home to pay attention to during the games as well. And it's how the ultimates get used in these matches. It pretty much it does decide these fights at the end of the day. And this was just one moment from Florida. I noticed that they did particularly well in that they saved the Transcendence. It's pretty basic maneuver for most pro teams these days, but it's just one moment that I spotted out that was a good instance of ult economy coming out from the Florida Mayhem.
It's indeed, man. It's crazy how much timing goes into that. Like, it's really precise when it goes in it. So, guys, in that first half, what were some of the main takeaways for you guys?
Well, I was happy and shocked alike to see Tvik going for that May and actually just sticking through on it. When we're on King's Row, I mean, if there is a map to do it, it would be King's Row because everything is very narrow. You can really split the enemy team, and he had a lot of great moments. There were a lot of good walls where he managed to split the enemy team so they can get the pickups needed, etc. But also, I think playing with a May, it is very counterable. I'm not sure if that's actually a word, but it should be.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because you come out the gates a bit, you get some nice picks because you're using the ice wall to really just sort of segregate the rest of the team, as you can see here, but sometimes it doesn't work. You see, Houston Outlaws, at the end of the day, Florida, that fight almost went skew with. They had to commit 2 ultimates, the Graviton and the Blizzard, to try and win it out. And eventually Houston, they did end up coming out on top because of this. I mean, it's a cutesy little play again. These strategies, we're seeing a lot of teams playing this unconventional sort of compositions. Florida, they love this May pick, but I think Houston, they slowly started to adapt. And I am actually very concerned as well for Florida, because if they keep playing this, they keep coming out with the May on these maps, it's not realistically going to be working out in their favor, because teams are going to clock onto it. They're going to be able to plan around it like Houston did in this match here.
I thought you liked the May. I thought you thought it was creative.
I introed with it, yeah. When I saw it, because I mean, again, it's like it's cool to see at the end of the day. It's like an old strategy. It's as old as King's Row has been a map out in the game. People have always ran it, but in this case, you know, it didn't work out, and this is the real risk of running these strategies over and over again. You can run it once or twice, you can catch teams off guard, but as soon as you get teams that are reading into it, like Houston, they're well prepared for it, they know how to play around it, and then you start running into issues, and then ultimately losing the map.
Right, it's not sustainable. It's kind of like one of those last-minute Hail Marys, not necessarily a strategy you want to stick with. All right, so guys, Houston's up 2-0. Florida needs to get back into this game. What should they do?
For me personally, I've been looking at the way Florida's been coordinating. I think they're reliant on these cheese strategies a little bit too much, but they need to be on top of the ball when it comes to coordinating on the triple tank, triple supports. It always comes back to that. Houston Outlaws are way, way more coordinated, it seems, from running this composition. I think they've fixed up a lot of their mistakes in their earlier matches. I think New York gave them a bit of an awakening, a rude awakening, if you like. So they are looking a lot better off the back of that. Florida, they need a talking to from their coaching staff at least to turn stuff around. And I think what I'm seeing is communication issues. Again, don't know for sure. I'm not listening to the comms, so I don't know for sure. But yeah, it's not fantastic.
Yeah, I would also pin it to communication there. I think Mayhem was a bit scattered. They were a lot less coordinated. I would like to see them forcing their own tempo a little bit more. Right now, it's all on Houston. Houston is the one initiating. They are the one who actually decide when the fights are happening and where they're happening. So Mayhem needs to get a better grip and more control over the map as a whole.
All right, well, we'll see pretty soon. Houston up 2-0. Will they continue to dominate, or will Florida get back into this game? We'll find out in just a bit. They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan.
every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Houston Outlaws now at match point. 2-0 start for them, getting Ilios, then getting Kings Row. Pretty insane OT push there on Kings Row to close it out, then get the defense, the full hold on A. Things looking really good for them. Florida now have to bounce back. They have to try to get a reverse sweep if they want to take a win here.
Yeah, if they don't win this series, they're not knocked out of playoffs by any means, but it's going to be, it's not really up to them whether they make it or not after that. There's going to have to be a lot of really complex scenarios. So this is really important that they bounce back now.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best ways we could say it is that they're not mathematically eliminated from playoffs, which is always a very rough position to be in, but we will have some more subs coming through. Apply coming back in for Tvik.
Yeah, more generalist.
No May strategies on horizon.
That's right. And then we will have McGravy coming back in. Now we've figured out the Zephyr subs. It's not based on performance, it's based on flexibility to be able to run the Zarya. That clearly McGravy can't run when they're running these Sombra comps with BQB. So it's kind of a bit of solved musical chairs, at least on the side of the Florida Mayhem here as we head into Horizon. Expect to see more meta 3-3 strats coming out from them. Potentially some Sombra could come through as well, but they are going to have to play it much better than the first two maps. We'll have BQB on the Zarya to start things off.
Yeah, we'll be just jumping straight back into the action here.
The one weakness of McGravy is definitely, at least from what we've seen so far, is his inability to flex to Sombra. That would be a huge asset to them in some of these compositions if he could do it. They're on the Diva-less Reinhardt Zarya, but they're so reliant on swapping heroes. Swan will be, or rather swapping players. Swan will be on the Winston here for defense, very common.
Does get hacked, but makes it out. They're not going to be building up for that Primal Rage as quickly as he would like. Pushes back up here onto the high ground. Armor Pack keeping Muma sustained. They will force Mayhem off the high ground, down into the back. join actually coming through. Spree going lower and lower, and BQB will be able to find the kill. One tick nearly coming through. Will be able to grab that. Still taking up the point. They'll finally contest it and shut down this push from the Outlaws, but at least for their sake, they don't walk away empty-handed.
Well, that was certainly a small error that actually gives a nice little advantage to the Outlaws, just not having anyone tag that point despite the one-team fight. So they could have had someone touch on there, but either way, the Outlaws come back here with only 60% of an EMP, so it's going to have to be what we call, an eco push, slowly coming through, trying to use this attack while they still have a big time bank to build ultimates for a follow-up push to take the point itself.
The turnaround, though, on that push does give the Primal Rage over to Swan.
That's right.
Now
He can
has
split
it.
him in half here on this staircase.
See, this is why they're trying to play around the stairs rather than go outside so they don't get knocked off the map. Primal Rage going to be coming down, locks him up into the staircase. Very contained spot, but Raucus finds Apply, then pops the Transcendence. Swan has to exit. Gets the Zarya bubble to safely make it out of there, but now Chris going to be taken down. Already 2 supports eliminated from the side of Florida Mayhem. Now McGravy loses out on the mech. That's going to be the breakthrough push here for the Houston Outlaws as they make their way over onto A.
Big play by Raucus. Survivability key here. Jake has
Finish the
also
point. There you go.
Jake has also had quite a few big moments here to keep his teammates alive with burst heals. Now the double cap is very likely if they can isolate Hagopun. Dante's looking for him right now on the high ground.
Drops his way down into the back.
I think he sees him. He's back there behind those boxes.
He's just hugging the window. That's going to be grab coming through. Bomb thrown in. Spree going lower and lower. The shield, not enough space to block the Zarya. So 2 kills will come in.
Great
Florida
call.
Mayhem stabilized.
Great call by BQB. If he doesn't grab there at that precise moment, Dante eventually gets back in there, gets a big EMP, then we see the follow-up grab, and it's all over. He made the call that Dante was like, I can't EMP in this moment. We can't follow up because we're stuck in a grav here. Raucus used the trance to get A. That was the one tool that was missing. This time, though, different situation. This time they have the tools. It's going to be on Florida Mayhem, especially Hagopun, to stay alive here.
Yep, still into the back. The EMP not going to be able to catch him, so the Transcendence comes down as well as the rally from Apply, but the pin from Muma catches out Chris. Grab locks him up, sound barrier in. Swan trying to dissuade them, trying to bat Muma back, but he cannot do it. Will be taken down. 2 ticks going to be picked up here in a moment as they finish off McGravy. The respawns just now coming through. Can they even tag it? No, they cannot. They don't get it on the first attack, but they also don't invest any ultimates. Houston Outlaws come back in for the second try. They're able to lock down B, and they have a pretty significant time bank. 4 minutes, 43 seconds. But guys, we have Mica who's standing by with some insight, so let's go ahead and throw down to her.
I talked to Houston at the half, and many of you probably saw Bonnie's tweet, so I had him elaborate on his surprise appearance starting on Achilios. He told me there was a mix-up when Houston submitted the starting rosters, but he was so excited to play on stage and get the experience. This may be actually a new tradition for him, seeing as he surprise started on Achilios last season in a game versus Seoul. So will we see a third time? Well, we'll have to keep watching to find out. But for now, back to you, Wolf and Achilios.
Thank you very much, Mica. Well, picks up the win, so does, buff up his chances of getting back on there for the starting lineup.
You have to think so. He had a really good game as well. I'm sure perhaps, outdone by Hagopun in a lot of those moments, those really passive transcendences we saw by Hagopun, but overall, a pretty solid start for the very rarely started player. Now, on the defense here, the Outlaws are going to do what we've seen already earlier today, this Bastion Orisa defense with Zarya, very difficult to kill. However, not running a Mercy, so you've got 1 life. There's no second chances here with this Bastion composition. And as we've seen many times, as Monty pointed out actually earlier, when this comp fails, there is no recourse. You do not have the ultimates you need to defend the second push. They'll have Raucus because he's on this Zenyatta, potentially a Transcendence. But if they lose out early, this could be another even faster steamroll double cap for Florida. So very all in what the Houston Outlaws are doing here. But not surprising to see it from them. They've shown this before. They love their very specific strats. Applies Genji.
Is indeed going to Genji, and Hagopun's going to be swapping over onto the Mercy.
Something that Shock popularized last season. is running the Genji Mercy, building a fast blade through damage amplification and pocket healing, and then using that to break through the Orisa defense. Usually Orisa Junkrat back then in the 2018 season, but it works well against the Bastion too.
Well, Swan going to be jumping forward. Apply already taken down very low. McCraven losing out of the mech in just a moment there. We'll start ticking things up. Boink will be eliminated, but the kills are going to be there very much for the Houston Outlaws. So far, so good with the treehouse strat. Drop down, spraying away. It's Hagapun. Point blank there. They'll be able to finish him off. Can't quite get BQB, but still very significant start for the Outlaws.
The Resurrect for Mercy in Hagapun's case here is not too impactful for the Florida Mayhem on the attack. It's better used on Swan, for example, the tank, than Apply, who died early in that fight, because if he's rezzed, and during the res, if he survives that moment, he's going to die right afterwards. It's better for a longer fight after the Bastion is dead. Here's the leap in.
Yep, going to be trying it again. Bubble comes down. Swan still getting melted. Again, the mech nearly taken away from McGravy. Hagapun going to be pocketing him, trying to build that HP bar back up. Whereas Apply's just going to be slicing and dicing. They're going to be taken down, cuts his way through, finds Rockus, now finds Spree, gets the melee hit on Namuma. It's been a long time since we've seen a Genji, but here he is, and he's doing quite well on the second attack. We'll be able to close this out. They shut down the comp. That's going to be the flips coming through from the Outlaws. And a 6-minute time bank for Mayhem to start with.
Now, normally, the Genji will instantly swap after this, even with a Dragon Blade, but because Rockus has a Transcendence, they know this. They want to make this push, trade that Transcendence out before they swap. Very unlikely they're going to match the time bank of the Houston Outlaws, but there is one shot at this. If they can somehow kill Rockus, if he's in a positional, if he's positionally, you know, too far forward, for example, if he makes a positional mistake, there's an opportunity there. But what they really want is the trance. You can see the dive come through. Rockus is the target, although they don't get a lot of damage done, to be honest.
No, they do not. Hagapun actually going to be taken down. Muma is Goomba stomping him, manages to find a kill, but oversteps the gate. McGravy will be able to trade that one back. Grav comes in, locking up the Mayhem. The kills will be there. Primal Rage or not, Swan's still going to be taken down. Dragon Blade in their back pocket, but do they want to keep holding it, or do they change it out? The answer is going to be yes to the swap.
Big question mark on Chris's sound barrier, even though we do see a compositional reset here for the Florida Mayhem. That's something you can use to bait out other ultimates, especially because the Outlaws now have double support ults ready. So yeah, there was a little bit of a disconnect on how that blade was used, but no big deal. The problem is with no sound barrier, you have almost nothing to ever catch up on support ults. The way it looks right now, Houston Outlaws should have an ult advantage for the rest of this defense.
Pushing their way down.
Yeah.
It's going to be matching them here, right on the low ground. Swan taking a bit. Rally's going to be out from Jake. Team needs to gather around him if they want some of that armor, though. We'll be able to get grouped up, and they force Florida back into the main hall again.
It's a safe ultimate to use, especially because it builds so quickly. They're going to have basically more effective health in this next upcoming fight, where, you know, BQB and friends want to force those ults to be used early, but it's just simply not going to happen when there's armor there.
Grabs in, locks up Spree alone in the back, but Dante cuts them off with the bomb. Will not be able to find any kills on that, but the shield gets shattered, and Swan cannot push back fast enough. Will be taken out. The pop here going to be a pretty brutal stagger you would expect on a McGravy.
You know, the communication issues that were discussed during our halftime show, I think you can really feel them here. BQB wanted to, in that fight, come through with high energy, force the trance early, then grab afterwards. The rest of the team, you would hope in that moment, is on the same page. Even though Jake used his rally before, which makes it so much more difficult to get the health low to force that transcendence, he committed the grab after the fight was clearly going the way of the Outlaws. So now, you know, still he's built 52%, but when you already have a tough timing against you, you can't be making mistakes like this.
Oh, grab straight into the base. That's going to be the Transcendence out from Hagapun, keeping everybody alive for the moment. Trance now expiring. Push back for a moment, get the rally rolling from Apply, and now try to re-aggress. Uma hits the low ground. That's going to be a lockup here on Arrakis, but the sun comes through. Swan unable to go for a charge. Ruma, in the meantime, he gets the sound barrier shield, finds Apply. Now McGravy's popped out. They take him down. And Houston Outlaws, they come out on top again. 3 minutes remaining for Florida Mayhem. Certainly could still get this cap, but it is just not looking good.
No, certainly not. Big disconnect with the members of the Florida Mayhem there as to where they were half on the high ground, half down the low ground. Shatter looked like a good opportunity there for Swan because, you know, there was an angle where he gets a few stuns, but with his teammates being on the low ground, unable to commit to getting the final blows on those kills, it doesn't actually matter how many enemies are stunned at the end of the day. They're running out of time here. It's already a disaster with 2 minutes to the deficit. Raucous is about to have that transfer. The grab here. BQB can make it work this time.
Throws it into the pillar. Muma going to be locked up, but Raucous does have that transcendence. They get the push off there. Swan goes for the pin, finds Muma, and the bomb will finish him off. Answering grab. Now coming through. Bomb thrown up straight over the top. Looking for the pick off. BQB just says thank you very much for the energy, but Mayhem still trying to stabilize. Couple members very low, so Hagapin pops the transcendence as they work their way over onto the point. Spree and Jake, the last two to fall, rally nearly online. Houston otherwise don't have many ultimates to work with. The shatter from Muma, it's gonna have to be massive, and it's not gonna get anything other than apply. They take him down, they continue to take up. Spree comes back in with the wrecking ball, but the adaptive shield is not enough for him to survive. Forté Mayhem will be able to finish Horizon. 2 points apiece. We're gonna go ahead and throw over to a quick break as we get ready to jump in for those overtime rounds and see who can come out on top. And here we go. Overtime coming through, 1 minute and 51 seconds. What Forté Mayhem were able to finish with.
They're already playing with one hand tied behind their back here, essentially. And we cannot have an inconsistent disconnect between the front line and the back line on B this time. They will have to get a double cap to hope to be competitive with the Houston Outlaws. It won't have to necessarily be on the first push, but they are going to have to get A and B, because you can bet Houston is looking to do that with the time bank they have. How can you hope to stop them given the track record thus far? We're going to see the same exact compositions we just had with Forté running, apply this time automatically on the Genji, assuming that it would be the same comp. They guessed correctly. Now let's see if he can get this on the first go this time. It's certainly possible. Much tougher to do versus the Orisa Bastion than the Orisa Junkrat, because the deflect damage is not there for the grenades coming out from Junkrat is left clicks. That's how you're going to build most of your Dragon Blades against Junkrat Orisa.
Pushing back, keeping himself safe, but this is precious time being drained away.
That's the big issue here. And BQB is so far away from EMP, that's how they unlocked it last time with the Swift Strike resets.
Jump up over the top, nice push away there. Dante trying to keep him safe. Jake finds Hagapun, and the Genji goes down. Realistically, one more attempt to try to get onto the point and get as much as they possibly can, if not cap it.
Yeah, BQB is on the low ground right now trying to find damage. This is Jake just spamming to see if he can find him. They don't know where he is, but even still, 40% away is too far. Without the longer fight here, he's not going to have that EMP. It's do or die right now. One more push, and applies not even half to the Dragon Blade. It's going to have to be Swift Strike resets again. Here we go.
Swan up over the top, drops low. Deflection coming in, Apply trying to finish him off. Rocket's going to be eliminated, but point gets BQB. Hagapun going to be taken down. No supports for the Outlaws, however. As they try to hold on, try to complete this full hold. Spree going to be taken down. Jake gets rid of Chris. Dante pushing forward, trying to keep them off the point. Jake looking for a target, just taking some shots from below.
Apply's getting closer to that blade. You know, if they could somehow stabilize here.
Could be the breaking point. They're trying to push him back out. Configuration take, ready to roll. Jake holding onto it.
Here
Now maybe getting it, going in for the pop. Looks for the snipe there onto the Genji, unable to find it. Deflection going to be used. Almost gets the knockout onto McGravy's mech. Now does find it. Looking for a little bit more. Configuration tank gonna expire. Makes it over into the turret form.
The blade.
The EMP comes in. Now the blade's gonna be out. Play slashing away. Trying to finish off Spree. Gets him with the final swipe. Pushes back up. Deflection in. On to Muma. Finishes him off. And Forté Mayhem in overtime finally break the defense and they get the cap on A.
But it's too early to be hopeful for them yet. They don't have massive tools to take B. We're going to have to see them swap composition here. There's just no carryover with what they had before after using all their ultimates there with the Genji compositions to come in here. When they use Outlaws, have the superchargers still available, which will be very strong for Spree, Zarya, and for Raucous here, and both support ultimates. It looks hopeless for a B cap, but at least they were able to make A happen. We're going to have one more Hail Mary push here with a Primal Rage.
Oh, Muma throwing down the supercharger, playing here onto the back of the point. Three pushing forward. OT already rolling through. Apply going to be eliminated. Sound barriers out. Grab locks him up. Hagapun, no transcendence to try to stay alive. He'll get melted down as soon as the Zarya bubble expires. That's an answering sound barrier in from the Outlaws. Bomb up desperately. McGravy going in for the Hail Mary. Unable to find it. They can't deny his remake, but they'll just take him right back out of it, you would expect. Swan going to be finished off. Chris killed off as he goes around the backside of the point. And this should be the finish. They just go ahead and get those final kills. So one cap, but they have to beat.
That's right. And they've got nearly 5 minutes to do it. The question now becomes, what do Florida Mayhem use to defend? Will they just try to do the same thing that they've been running for the majority of time here, situations like this, the normal 3-3 defense with the Winston, or will they try something like the Bastion Orisa? Will they try, you know, something even crazier that we haven't seen yet, something like the Pharah, something that will trip up the Houston Outlaws, and the element of surprise will go through that time bank. If you fail, though, you know, with that type of defense, your opponent's going to basically win on their first attack. So it's always tough. Do you play it standard when you're losing that matchup? Do you try something different? That's what they did on Kings Row with Tavik on the May. It almost worked, but it didn't work out in the end. In a situation like this, where it is 4:43 for 4 ticks, meaning the first cap and 1 tick on B, you know, it's a tough call. And I think most coaches in this moment would hope that their players would go for the normal 3-3, try to be ult efficient, even if they've been losing that matchup quite a bit. It's your best shot. It's your best way to, you know, continue to use less ultimates as a defender than your opponent and end up the advantage. McGravy is going to be searching for Dante to see if he's on Sombra here, and then we'll boost back to the point. Dante may not stick with the Sombra, may just swap off after scouting, but I think given the team setup for the Outlaws, I think he will stick with it. He will keep it, I have to imagine.
Pushing forward. Outlaws well aware what Mayhem has. Dante did a lot of nice little poke damage there in on the Swan. Now the hacks through onto McGravy. No D-Matrix available at the moment, but you get caught out here in this slight choke, and that is just going to be the Houston Outlaws getting cleaned up. Nearly all 6 members going down.
Scariest part, though, is it feels like this was all just a diversion. Dante was off to the side the entire time.
Oh, he farmed up.
Yeah, and he farmed up to 82%. So it feels like the Houston Outlaws pointed the Florida Mayhem into the wrong direction, tricked them, and now Dante's got an EMP. That one EMP can open this point up and get them enough ult charge to take B and a double capture. That's the idea. That's the play here for the Outlaws on this next approach. Florida Mayhem do not have support ultimates yet for that EMP. It's going to be tough to hold without it. They need to fight before the point.
Push back up here over the top. The EMP catches all 6 of them. No chance for that primal rage to come in. 2 members gone. The rest of them running for the hills.
I think that their best shot would have been the primal, but you know, he was hacked. There's no way.
Yep. Rally out from Jake to seal the deal on this point. Get that armor ready to go.
And then suddenly,
push straight through to B.
Yeah, suddenly these ults they build in the fight from killing the members of the Florida Mayhem, who did try to take that forward approach there to not fight on the point. They're just not going to have as many ultimates here. The big key, though, is going to be how the Houston Outlaws use them. If they come in here and just try to shatter before the rest of their ultimates are online, Florida Mayhem could stabilize from that. So I think we're going to see a slower, more careful push here on this particular attack. It's the next 2 that you're really worried about.
Well, that's going to be the shadow. Oh, man! Cuts around here to BQB's point of view, where his teammates just suffering around him. Apply gets taken out by the pin. They answer back. But somebody's on the point in all of this chaos. They take it away. He's got a big smile on Jake's face.
They baited them in. We saw Dante get onto the point. He sat there while everyone was stunned. No one could return. Very nice on-the-fly adaptation here from Mulma. Huge play on the Reinhardt. It wins them the map.
It does. It wins them the map. It wins them the series. A 3-0 for Houston Outlaws. Florida Mayhem. One more chance to get a victory on Escort. Let's see if they can do it when we come back from the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.
here we go, just taking a look. Dante with the back cap. Chris trying to contest him. He was the only one. Everyone else so focused on the fight that they just take it.
Yep. The Shatter meant that they couldn't come back on, and he was actually trying to flank around the backside to threaten the tanks as they approached. Muma made the Shatter happen, but Dante realized in that moment, oh, I don't need to rejoin the fight. I don't need to actually start farming up further EMP. I'm just going to win the map right now because no one can touch the point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that somebody from Mayhem was paying attention to it. It wasn't just a complete, brain fart. They acknowledged Chris was there. He was trying to deal with it, but Dante just got those shots and was able to win that 1v1. And everyone else was just so caught up, was shattered, grabbed, etc. Just couldn't make it. So really rough stuff, but Houston able to close out the series with that 3-0. Rialto is going to be our final map. So still a chance for the Mayhem to pick up a map win here.
Yeah, it's it's not going to be easy. You have to feel. Last time we saw Mayhem on Rialto, we saw Tavik play the May, and some limited success there. I want to give that asterisk. It was successful at some parts, otherwise, did fall on its face a little bit. We do have some substitutions. Let's see if he rejoins. He will.
He does. So it seems like that strat is going to come out.
The problem with this that I see is that it's a little bit predictable at this point. Jake himself has run the maze, very familiar with the strategy, and here we go, Zephyr back in as well. This all makes sense. Just having it back to the other side of the Mayhem. But I'm worried about how successful this is going to be because the Outlaws have already seen it coming. Bonnie coming back in.
I wonder if they warned him this time or if this is also a surprise to him. Either way, going to see him back on stage and they've nailed the victory. And Cool Matt will be coming back through for Dante as well. So it seems like maybe they want to stray away from the Sombra here for Rialto and stick probably more to that standard 3-3 style on the side of the Outlaws.
It's a little bit more difficult to pull off, and controlling high ground on Rialto is so important. And that's going to be what, you need a good D.Va player for that. You know, it's sometimes impossible to use your Lucio alone to get up there and knock players off. And obviously Sombra can harass, and EMPs can be very impactful in the map itself, but in terms of controlling that high ground, the D.Va is the play, and that's part of the reason why we see Cool Matt come back in here.
Players getting loaded up and ready to go. Rialto, our final set here in this series. Forté try to spare their blushes, get a win back through, so they don't walk away with that 0-4 defeat. This is going to be a test of their fortitude. Try to come back into this.
Will be the Houston Outlaws on the attack first, with Forté Mayhem defending. And it will be, at least from the outset here, Tavik on the Brigida. We saw mostly the attack May out of him on this map last time he played it. So for those May fans out there, don't lose hope yet. We'll have to wait and see what the Outlaws are really going to run here in just a moment. So I'm not a believer in the Symmetra, Zarya, Widow.
I mean, we had Paris run a Symmetra earlier. We saw how well that treated them.
Not very.
So I think the Outlaws, yeah, there we go. They're not going to make the attempt. Cool Matt is going to be taking a shot with a Widow at least.
Yep, if you get an opening pick onto Hagopun, it's huge. That's exactly who he's looking for right now. If you tap the Winston as well, it can give you an advantage in your tank war. And then Jake is checking with the Hanzo. They're actually going to hold on to this for a little bit longer. We've seen this a little bit before on this map. It's very risky, but sometimes you can flank the Widow. But as you can see, that's not really the play here.
Yeah, so we'll just be changing some things up, at least alleviated some of the pressure for them to push around this corner. But now, in the swaps, Ruin Spree taking a bit of damage there. Cool Matt gonna get stunned up, popped out of the mech, but they managed to find Hagopun. So still a very solid start for the Outlaws as they continue to push the cart.
Yeah, it's a winnable trade, absolutely. And Cool Matt, because of the position they have, the advantage they have here over this archway on the bridge, Cool Matt should be able to remech with his pilot D.Va, just using the bunny pistol here at range, while no one can really approach him and threaten him.
Yeah, spamming away, jumping to the back there from Swan, getting a lot of damage on the point. Kidvani almost takes him out.
Cool Matt remech.
Back over, primal range not up yet. He tries to go into the back again, but they isolate him, push him way off to the side. Now no HP remaining, and Cool Matt sets up that play and finishes it off.
You could see the huge difference there between Cool Matt or not. You know, he just is going to be able to peel and add so much extra damage. Cool Matt's a great D.Va at maximizing damage. That's one of his strengths, always has been. As soon as he gets the remake, suddenly the low health targets are safe because he comes in, forces Swan away. The Mayhem build a lot of ult charge through this fight, though. They will have Tavik on the rally to try to take this high ground and hold it. They have it for the moment. They're not going to fight on the bridge. That would be suicidal. Although, as I said, Swan goes in.
Swan's trying to get them there.
I don't know about this.
Someone unable to find it. Jake was disconnected. I'm not sure if that initial smack from the primal range is what isolated him over there. Either way.
They need to get back on this high ground and control it. And that ends up being actually pretty efficient. He may swap over to the Rhine, but this high ground is everything right now, and they cannot lose that. He's actually going to stick with it. Jumping down once again.
Yeah, goes through. Bomb going to be thrown out. Not going to find anything for Zephyr. Should be going back into the back, but Chris going to be taken down moments before he gets that sound barrier up, and Hagapun could not save him with the Transcendence. Now it's expiring. They'll take a dip in the canal, and the cart will continue to roll.
The only thing worse than, you know, losing someone in a fight like that is using a Transcendence to try to save them and failing, because then you've lost the fight and you've lost your Transcendence. It's the worst feeling ever as a Zenyatta when you just simply did not hit it in time or could not get line of sight to save that target. Muma's hiding here for a shatter.
Yeah.
Gets
Sorry about
scouted.
Ooh. Fight just save him. Panic shatters on the turnaround there. Goes straight into the shield. So a nice little win for the Florida Mayhem. If they can convert this into a team fight victory, be quite good for them. Matching sound barrier coming out from Chris.
Better time,
Shields
too.
Expiring, yeah, on the side of the Outlaws, so now have to play back.
And this could be a huge turning point for Mayhem, because this is the place where you can really hold on this map with the high ground as the defender. And that better timed sound barrier for Chris after Muma's overextension there, his greedy play is going to give them that high ground, as you can see here. Coolmat tries to take it, but it's easier said than done. Look at how much damage the Outlaws take on their approach here.
So very close. Grab, however, still going to be coming through the pin.
Nice
is
charge.
out. Muma not going to be going off the side into the water. Also, not really finding the kill yet, but Spree pushes forward, manages to get rid of Zephyr. Taking him out. Hagapun again a little bit late with that Transcendence to keep his team alive. Coolmat dumps the mech. Makes his way back through. Shatter going to be out. Swan catches so many, but can they get the kills on the back of it? Uma will get dropped. Coolmat going to get popped out of the mech, so it seems like the answer might just be yes. Grab to lock up the remaining members of the Outlaws as they keep getting closer and closer to B. Spree finds Swan. Hagapun going to be taken down, but with Bonnie eliminated, there's no supports here for Jake and Spree, and they will get cleaned up. BQB gets himself a triple on the end.
Well, when the dust settles, the longer fight obviously means that Mayhem, who won it just slightly, they get a little bit more ult charge than the Outlaws do in the end, but they're still ahead, the Outlaws, in terms of ultimates. But the most important thing is this energy here for BQB held on the high ground, because the Outlaws have to cross the bridge and go around. Now, I like this taking the right path instead. This is a little bit tricky, but they are seen, so fortunately, I don't think this is going to work, but I like the idea. They're going in.
Yeah, Muma going through the side. The shield comes up from Tavik to block out the shatter. Muma trying to find the pin, not going to be able to get anything. Bomb going to be dumped by Zephyr up onto the high ground, manages to make his way back in, and Jake is going to get taken down by Swan.
And now BQB has the Graviton Surge. He still has 80 energy. That will decay. But obviously, the Outlaws have to go back to square one. Already across the bridge here, but it's tough to fight on this choke, especially when you're fighting against high ground. They don't have it anymore. They're going to have to retreat back.
Coolmat taking a lot of damage there.
He lives, though.
Massive amount of energy going over to BQB. Grab's going to be coming through. Sound barrier thrown down by Chris to keep them all alive. Entering Grab and Houston Outlaws holding on. Swan gets the pin, not going to find the kill. Shatter comes down, and Jake is going to be dead up into the front line again. Swan, however, traded out. I think you take that if you're the Outlaws. Rick for a ride seems pretty darn good. Pin takes BQB well into the back. Spree has the right click to finish him off. To continue this very scrappy fight. Lose out on Boink. The cart still starting to inch back forward up to B.
Swan onto the wrecking ball here. He wants to buy time with a pile driver. He's going to hit it.
And Muma's going to be taken down as he ships over to the side. Bomb coming out. Gets rid of Spree. They actually might be able to stop the cart here.
Nice play by Swan. He swapped over the wrecking ball at the right moment. Had the cool angle here around this, you know, triangular shaped wall, and then comes in, knocks everybody up, does the damage required to displace them. Now they have a Transcendence against Spree's Grab. This cart might be held here. This is the hardest part, by the way, on Rialto attack to cross, is when your opponent has high ground, you always have to take this right side, very predictable. Huge fire strike damage from Swan here as well.
Swan, look at the build up for that next Earth Shatter. Still a ways away. Muma's got his ready to roll, but can they set up for it? It's going to be the big question. Hagapun holding on to the Transcendence. It's going to be huge. Grab going to be denied away. Zephyr takes that one out. Teammate
Massive.
very nicely well timed by him. Point goes low, Spree as well under fire. They force out the OT. Shatter being held, Rally getting ready to come through here for Jake. To Vic as well, gets his online, pops it immediately to match. Trying to set up the angle here. Swan goes low, pushes his way back around the corner. So far the cart not really moving up. Grab comes in, BQB looking to take them down, tries to go in for the 180, drop on the hammer, cannot get it. Cart starts pushing up again. Swan matches with an Earth Shatter, but it's gonna whip, doesn't catch anyone, but it still seems like the Houston Outlaws are struggling to continue this push. Jake gonna be swapping over onto the Wrecking Ball, movement waiting to respawn, Sound Barrier Shield's gonna be expiring. Self-destruct comes out, goes up into the air. They're not gonna be able to find any picks though. Zephyr makes it back into the back, now Spree gonna be taken down, Cool Matt knocked out, eliminated. For Houston Outlaws, stringing together one after the other to desperately try to push this into B, but it seems like it's not gonna happen. They had such a good time bank, but Mayhem were able to stabilize. They won out the small fights, and that extended into draining that time bank.
Yeah, it's the high ground control around the corner. It's almost impossible to break through that, and the Outlaws had a few good fights around that zone, but they just could not break through in the end when the support ultimates in particular from Hagopun and Chris were always better timed, always waiting until the last second to utilize those. And the Wrecking Ball play there, the last second from Swan, is what really saved them, because in that moment, that was when it looked like the Outlaws have this for sure. They'll get a big enough time bank to push to C. Didn't happen that way, but the big question on everyone's mind now is, will we see Tvik May on the attack? You know, it's a bit of a emotional moment here for Chris. You could see the frustration on his face. He had a great game on the Lucio there on Rialto, but it's not going to save them the series. He's 12-1 currently on the Lucio at the moment versus 7-3 we see from Boink. Sound barriers there, 16 of them in that last fight, or rather in that last defense. Let's see what happens as we head into this attack, because there's a lot of different things that can happen here. We could see BQB on the Sombra with the May, like we saw before, coming out from Tvik, and even though he's showing the Hanzo right now, it's still a strong possibility. One of the reasons why you see Hanzo early on maps like this is the attacker wants to identify the swap composition, because that's the advantage you have. You have a spawn room. So sometimes you'll see, okay, this is what they're running, or this is where they are. We can punish that by swapping heroes. If you get a lucky pick with the Hanzo, that's all nice and good, but that's not really what this is for. A Sonic Arrow, you can see it here. He scouts around, gets a hit, nice damage, but it doesn't matter.
Chunk off of Cool Matt's mech, but they'll just be swapping over.
May.
It's gonna be the May. Aquapun here on the Ana, BQB with the Sombra.
And Muma's been caught a lot of the time by these May walls. Definitely something he's going to review in his VODs, and that's going to be the target Tvik is looking for here. Bit of an odd ice block there, but anyways, he's looking for those cutoffs. It's much easier in the chokes. You know, in this open area, we talked about this last time we cast Tvik on this very strategy. There's a courtyard right here is really hard to isolate members.
Pushes his way around the side, gets a lot of shots there into the back of Cool Matt. Has to use the ice block. No one there to punish though. So I'm not gonna be seeing a Muma charge go through. Wall comes up, Muma makes his way around the back, will be safe. This gives a lot of free space to the cart. So wall goes down, Outlaws start pushing up. Force him right back into the building.
Yeah, you can see Muma's adaptability here on this this Reinhardt. You can really feel he's just making sure he's not getting himself caught. In this case, he was forward, but he knew the cooldown. He also knows, the open space he's working with.
Oh, but Jake gonna be picked off. Tvik coming up with a kill. The Blizzard nearly online. Ball comes up far into the back, trying to get the freeze there on Muma. He'll be taken down. Now Boink followed up on. And that should just be point 8. Grabbed here by the Mayhem. Houston Outlaws, maybe enough time to recontest at the last moment, but things looking rather good for the Mayhem.
Certainly, especially because the next wall comes into this archway just around to the left here, and I don't think the Outlaws can tag in before that happens. They might just have to let this go. You can see how far back they're staying. Okay, they're committing.
Lock him up on the other side of the bridge. EMP comes down, catches 4 members though. And Muma, he's just gonna get melted down. Bionade denying that healing away. Grab will be used by Zephyr, but they go ahead, they lock down the point. 4.5 minutes to exceed the push from the Outlaws just in front of B. That's where they need to get.
I don't know if I agree with the Outlaws committing to that fight. You only buy a little bit of time, but you give the Florida Mayhem total control of this area, the high ground, the very high ground we just saw, where the Florida Mayhem made their stand. Now they've got a Blizzard here.
Yeah, Wall's gonna be coming down, throws in the Blizzard. Coolmat gonna be the only one.
He's locked in.
It will get locked in, will get popped out. Point taken down by Hagapun in the meantime, so 2 kills over to the side of the Mayhem.
Incredible pushing power. This is the Mayhem capitalizing on the Outlaws overextension, coming up here, knowing they could grab this high ground, and it's not gonna end here. The card is still rolling at the moment while they're looking for more kills.
And Spree will be able to finish off Zephyr. Pin coming down, locking up Muma, trying to finish him off. Wall there to Vic.
No
Right now
follow-up.
to stay alive.
Yeah, they gotta leave now.
Is going to be hounded down a little bit here. And yeah, you're not getting out of that one.
They gained a lot of free push from this, though. I really like how they utilized that one window of opportunity. They got another EMP for BQB. So there's, you know, they're now going to have to deal with the same thing the Outlaws failed to breach, which is that high ground around the corner. Tavik, you know, he's stuck to his guns on the May so far on this map. I don't think he'll swap it. I think they're just going to keep running this. With Hagapun on the Ana means there's a huge opportunity for a bio.
Grab going to be coming through, locking him up. Another Knight coming in, Wall's there, Bomb not going to find any catches. Muma, however, drops the hammer, and the kills just explode forth in favor of the Outlaws. Mayhem going to be shut down on that push.
Yeah, I think the real key here in moments like this is stagger on BQB, nicely done by Muma. I think the real key is going to be somehow Hagapun has to hit a bio grenade in a moment like that. You know, when the Blizzard comes up, there's a way to utilize that too, so there's no counterplay with the Transcendence. There's a lot of different ways the May can be used. Unfortunately, as was mentioned, you know, on the desk just in the halftime show, the strategy is as old as time. Everyone's seen this before. Everyone knows how to play around it. And if the Blizzard gets eaten, for example, I mean, that's the beginning of the end.
Yeah, that would be a major
Nice
cut
wall.
down. Wall's going to be coming up now. The EMP thrown in. Just everybody inside the house. They'll be taken out.
Even committed the nano.
Yeah, Cart going to be advancing now here for the side
This
of the
looks
Mayhem.
really promising for the Mayhem. Look, they've got a grab here. And if those support ults get denied, if Tavik can actually ice them out so they can't touch this, like this could be the winning moment for the Florida Mayhem. He's got a wall up as well. There it goes.
Here it comes through.
Grab.
Hitting him in. Transcendence
I think they may
gonna be
have
out,
this.
trying to keep them alive. Cart getting closer and closer. Movement trying to hold on, but it's taken down. Spree now as well, going to be eliminated. No chance at denials there on the ultimates from Coolmat. Could not get rid of the Blizzard, could not get rid of the grab. 2.5 meters left to go. They clean up the final kill, and Florida Mayhem will be able to take away a map in this series. Not the victory, but again, sparing their blushes, ensuring that they do not suffer a 0-4 loss and, you know, truly harm that map differential.
And how difficult it's going to be for them to get into the playoffs cannot be overstated. Every map they get is absolutely huge. The Outlaws, you know, they had some trouble there at the end of Rialto, but they by far played the better series. Take the 3-1 victory. Jake showing again he's a great leader, and in these moments after a tough loss, they can bounce back and take out the Florida Mayhem. It was a scrappy series. It was a crazy one. Certainly not the cleanest we've seen here in the Overwatch League for 2019. But, you know, I feel like we've learned a lot about Florida Mayhem here, how they swap their players around, what sort of styles we're running with Tavik. He's no longer the Brigida. He's actually the specialist. And that adds a lot here. But tonight it's all about the Houston Outlaws. They take a much-needed win.
That they do. They'll be feeling good about that. We've seen smiles on their faces throughout. So can go home happy. But guys, let's go ahead and throw down to Mica on the floor. He's standing by with Muma.
Thanks, guys. We got Muma here, the tank extraordinaire. I think that's what I'm going to call you from now on. And we have seen you pull some amazing plays, especially on Orisa, on Ilios. You were getting some awesome environmental kills. You were grinning. You were having a good time. It seemed like everybody up there was grinning. Oh, we can see it right here, right now. Would you say that this is kind of the comeback of the Houston Outlaws? You guys are getting your groove back?
Yeah, I mean, that's we had one tough match against Nixel, but other than that, we've had all our series have been really close, or really close. So I think this is a good sign.
Absolutely. And at the half, Bonnie told me that you guys have been working on your communication and everything's getting a lot better, as we have seen here today. Can you kind of walk us through that process, what it's been like, just grinding and working and improving?
I mean, our comms have definitely probably been our biggest issue for a while now, even going into like season 1. But looking forward and like to work on that, we've just been like really focused on like making sure that our comms are like clean and consistent, and we're calling the same things every fight, so that we can just build that consistency.
Awesome, absolutely. And keep it up and keep pulling people into that giant pit of death. It's been very entertaining. So thank you, Muma, and thank you to the Houston Outlaws. Give it up for him one more time, everybody. That's all I have for now. Back to you, up in the caster nest.
Thank you very much, Mica. Good to hear from Muma, and good to see the guys in high spirits. Overall, very good start to them, especially the King's Row, that 1 minute cap into A, into that OT push. Phenomenally done by them. Mayhem at least able to bounce back and get that victory on Rialto, though, so not going home completely empty-handed.
Yeah, the Florida Mayhem, you know, there's just been a lot of issues with consistency overall tonight.
Yeah.
You're going to take a look at our player of the match, though. Stolen by HP.
A couple different people I think that you could nominate for this one, but it will be Jake.
He played a lot of different heroes tonight, showcased especially good care of his front line. And in general, he was a support player tonight, right? You don't think of Jake as a support, and even when he's on the Brigida, you think DPS if you're playing the Brigida. But he played the Brigida in such a good way to keep Muma alive in some overextensions. His Ana as well coming in clutch there on King's Row. So easily the player of the match for me as well here, and you can see all the damage done in these chokes.
Yeah, also ran the Bastion, of course, on Horizon, Lunar Colony. So going out, he's playing to pretty much every role other than tank, which Brig is kind of that half and half spot. So we might as well give it to him, but some pretty good stats coming up. A lot of deaths at the end on Rialto, was getting picked off quite a few times, but that was also, Mayhem trying to isolate him, then we're able to find the kills. But overall, a very good performance from him and from the Outlaws overall. But you kind of were touching on it before we dived into that conversation. Well, what is going on with Mayhem in your opinion, and what can they work on to try and improve in their record at the moment?
I think it took them too long to figure out exactly what they wanted their players to do. They've got specifically Sire player as a Widow. You've got Tavik as kind of a May player now. It took too long to figure out that Apply was going to be the better Brigida in general when you're running those 3-3 compositions. And now they've solved it. We are seeing the rotations of players map to map, but they're predictable in style. They're running the same type of compositions, and when you see this every time you see the subs as the enemy team, you think, okay, Tavik steps in. Let's just be ready for May, and that predictability becomes a big issue. And there's also problems in communication between the front line and the back line. A lot of small things with the multinational roster that I think, in time, in theory, Florida will be able to iron out. But for this stage, not looking good.
All right, well, like we said, not mathematically taken out of the playoffs, but not looking good either. But guys, we're halfway done with the day. We still have plenty more Overwatch coming your way. We're gonna have a cross-nation battle coming up when San Francisco Shock takes to the stage the battle against the Washington Justice. So don't go anywhere, stay tuned. We'll be back in just a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.